Okay, so it's using sensing and what's concrete and known to set the scope. I like that. Thank you. There's a hand here. Yes, Jim.
Just define the problem first of all before you try to solve it.
Well said. Define the problem before you decide to solve. And besides the fact we're in the minority, Eileen, so we need to get it that most people on the planet want to start with the details and concrete specifics, and we just need to get on board, Eileen. We just need to get on board here. It is their planet. We are guests here. We need to get on board. The ENFP preference fellow, bless his heart, he really got it that he did not know how to ask for more time. And he was unconsciously making trouble for them trying to get to closure. And now he got conscious about it. He could ask for it. So it was huge what some of the behavior changes happened because their understanding of what they were doing happened. How can you manage the differences in the future? Deadlines can, these are events, guys. It doesn't matter sometimes if John needs something else. An event's going to have to happen whether or not John's got what he needs or not. John said, remind me of the deadline when it is you need the information back. And my private coaching with John afterwards was, John, that's putting the onus on the team member. The onus should need you. Let's need to develop a process for you, whether it's your calendar or your handheld, whatever. When you develop your process, it's not okay to tell other people, oh, you just remind me. It was a private coaching conversation we had. Oh, Mary said, let's tell it. She said, is it useful to tell people the priority of the urgency? Absolutely. It may be obvious to somebody how urgent something is. The other person may not have that data. They don't know that that's urgent. And I gave them a little hint here. I said, you know, if you want John to help you on something and it's urgent in a situation, John's a then we talked about catalysts. I said, catalysts are a helper. Have a helper core by nature. They want to help. If you explain why it's important, you're going to be able to engage John's natural helper core. And that's not a struggle or a battle at all. In fact, you're going to his very core, his center, to get help from this. So telling what, because someone with ISTJ preferences may just be telling what. May not occur to them to do the why and explaining. And I'm explaining, if you do a little explaining, you can engage the natural desire to help. I was in an OD certification program, and one of the professor in charge of it was a catalyst, and he had worked at a company, before he got his PhD, he'd been in an HR company in Greensboro, and he said one of his coworkers came up to him one day in the office and said, John, his name was John too. Actually, every man in my story's name is John, to protect the innocent and guilty alike. He said, John, I'm going to go to the mall, I'm going to have a button made. And you are going to have to wear this button every day at the office. And this button is going to say, warning, I want to help you. Because if you have catalyst tendencies, you may realize that you're over-helping where someone else hasn't asked for your help. So I did plus delta. How many of you use plus delta in the meeting? Oh, the quality movement. Don't you miss the quality movement? In a nutshell, in a nutshell, I teach a group of process, plus sign on one side of the chart, the delta, the Greek delta sign. Delta means change. There you go, my quality cohorts, means change. Plus means what worked well today, and in these situations it was about our learning. In a regular meeting, it's what worked well today about our process, what helped us accomplish our goal, and what might we change next meeting that would help us be more effective. You have to teach task-oriented folks sometimes that process, what you're doing is you're making their process a task. And you put it at the end of the meeting, it flies 5 minutes. Okay guys, what did we do today that worked well? Because we want to get conscious of that and do that again. And you know what didn't work so well and what we need to change. I know I'm ready to move on from a group when at 5 minutes to the hour somebody else says, hey, we have to do plus delta now. And deep inside I go, yes, I've been heard, we need to do plus delta. It helps to have real team examples, not just the letters. I tell stories all along, okay? We give examples. I don't ask that it's not about memorizing the letters. Again, they all said the actual examples really help. John, going through this together, and he said something that really was touching people. He said, these are merely preferences. How cool is this he got this? Where we go as a default. keeping the preferences in mind helps. We are a high-performing team already, and everybody concurred. Now, this was after 3 months, right? And everybody concurred. I called the manager 6 months later and asked her how things were going, and she said, you know, when we have department-wide calls now, they actually compliment each other's work over the call to the rest of the department. Now, this is not about the warm, fuzzy thing of complimenting somebody. That's not the point. The point is, they went from taking up most of their manager's time saying how much I'm struggling. And think about how much of their time was not contributing to the work being done because they were so frustrated. They went from there to working well together, acknowledging that they were a high-performing team.
Well, yes, yeah, I always ask you, how many of us feel over-appreciated?
Absolutely. There was one thing I don't want to lose track of here. It was a discussion of extroverted thinking sounding, by its nature, extroverted thinking is about closure and specific. You're grinning at me. I'm seeing grins already here. Extroverted thinking sounds closed, like we're done, because it's stating fact. It's a judging function being extroverted. That's its job, is to sound closed and decided and done. So I was just explaining, sometimes someone speaking in extroverted thinking can sound like they've decided and that it's pointless to bring anything else up because they've decided they're not listening anymore. And there was a silence. And the lead person with ISTJ preferences on the team. And I know she was coming from introverted feeling when she did this because Bob McAlpin talked about this. He said when you have ISTJ preferences and you go down to introverted feeling, you just go to mush, so you hate it. You just hate it when something sends you down there. But I know she went to introverted feeling because her voice quivered a little and she said, I would never want anyone to not tell me something they think we need to know to make the right decision. And I just let that land. And they all got it. And the extroverted, intuitive preference person got that he sounded like a Robin Williams and all over the place. And she got that unintentionally. And think about it, this woman, she didn't need to sound closed. That was not her intention. But there's a difference between our intention and what the use of these functions can come across as to other people, right? She really got it. She was shutting off information. And having ISTJ preferences, she wanted to get it right. She wanted it to be done right. And she knew if she didn't have the right data, it wasn't going to get done right. So we went to her core values, and her feelings about values. And there were just a couple of beautiful moments over the, well, more than a couple, over the course of these 3 months, where just teaching a tiny smidgen of a piece that related to how they were different, and then asking a question, how does this apply to what you do, what does this sound like when you do it? Guys, they had breakthroughs. They went from barely being able to stand to being around and be constantly struggling, to continuing to function and function better and complimenting each other in front of the department. So that's the end of my sample models. They really made, that's the kind of progress they made. And guys, I want you to know, I don't think this was about me. This is about the power of this information we have access to. Because this is real, it's in human beings, and human beings struggle with this every day. Why it's not a law, we all have to be taught this when we're children and in high school and college, I don't know. But what the power of these tools. Because none of these people intended to make anybody's day difficult. They were all showing up trying to do the best they could. They just wanted to beat each other's head into the table because they were so frustrated with that. So if you would talk at your table, who knows what a BFO is? Please.
Lightning flash of the gun.
Oh God, turn on the slide. Talk about being obvious. You know what I got tired of everybody asking me forgetting to tell and everybody asking, but that was really quick. We appreciate being there like that. So this is something like, oh my God, of course that's, I never thought of that. Something you'll implement for this workshop. believe about using these tools to type some trouble, I am giving you all of those, any of that, just choose. At your table, just pick something there and let y'all talk for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll share with the room. Actually, I'll take any questions. If you have any questions before we go into others, I'll take some questions. Yes?
So this is a manager's initiative, right, when she first called it?
Right.
What was the team's openness or willingness at the very beginning to actually do something about this versus continuing the status quo?
Very good. Thank you for that question. So what was the team's openness? Since it was the manager who called me in. Guys, these people were in pain. Everybody was willing to talk to me. They were in so much pain. And there was even an interesting twist. One of the people on the team had applied for the position the ENFP preference person got, and had to serve on the team with somebody who had the job she really wanted. Now, I want you to know, a manager of mine, whom I greatly respect, told me, Carol, that situation can never ever be fixed. Give up.
Wow.
Now, I just feel like I need to tell y'all that, in all honesty, that was her opinion on it. And let's face it, sometimes that can get so toxic that can't be. I am happy to say in this situation, everybody was coming from a decent place, and there was nothing toxic going on with anybody. And one of the things, one of the ISTJ preference said about him is, you know, he had actually owned his own company. He'd been an entrepreneur, and he just got tired of trying to fill a sales funnel, so he went back into a company. And he was hired in because of his entrepreneurial background. The manager actually hired him instead because she wanted that new entrepreneurial energy in the team. Well, one of the ISTJ preference folks said to me, you know, he's supposed to be all this great stuff and have all these great ideas, but frankly, I'm just not seeing it. Well, that shifted as we went over the course of this, because the problem was she was looking through her ISTJ filters. And you betcha she was not seeing what she wanted to see through her filters. And John, bless his heart, was Robin Williamsing them all over the place when he wanted to go into his brainstorming thing. So that's right, she was not seeing the strengths he had to bring to the table. So I helped teach them the pattern and the order and when to use what and what the functions were like. And guys, it just shifted everything. Thank you, that's a very good question. Yes, ma'am.
You talked in the beginning about toxicity, and then you just referenced it again. How do you know when a team has gone toxic? What are the signs to you? Because you can have teams that are in extreme pain.
Right.
And then you can have toxic teams. And of course, as an ESFJ, when I am in pain, I go to blame and complain. And so, but that can often be misinterpreted as toxic, but it's not. So I just wonder, how do you look at that? How do you define it?
That is a very good question. And I'm going to give you a catalyst answer, because catalyst is my preference. That's the best answer I can give. I go in with a set of questions. And I'm kind of empathic. Dara Nario teaches about this. We've got ENFPs have more mirror neuron activity in this quadrant of the brain than any of the other types do. We all do it. ENFPs, it's like we can't shut it off. Okay? It's going on all the time. And I just allow myself to be open and get a sense of, is there a mean-spiritedness? There's a difference between sounding frustrated and a meanness and a gotta-get-emness. And so what I'm listening for is that mean kind of spirited energy and want to get somebody, versus I can really be empathetic with the frustration.
So if this team had been toxic, what conversation would you have had with the manager that would have been different? And what would you have done different?
I would have, thank God I did not end up in that situation. There's another situation I can describe where I had to do something about that. I would have gone to her and said, we're past a type intervention. You need to do a much deeper OD intervention when you've gotten to that point.
I don't know what you mean by OD.
Oh, I'm sorry, organization development.
Oh, okay.
You need to do a much deeper intervention with people, do some one-on-one. You really need to help. It's not therapy because you're not licensed to do therapy, but it's not just a type workshop. And I'm going to let Carol contribute here.
I'm going to say, here's what I would do. I would go to Pam Reckle, right? She coaches people who are dealing with abusive executives, and she coaches the executives themselves, too.
Thank you. And that get her. and this is an example. This is a much, what Pam does regularly, that's a much deeper, psychologically deeper intervention than
There's a difference between, and I'm sorry, I don't want to dominate the conversation here, but to me there's a difference between when you have an individual who's toxic
Right.
and they have their own issues and clearly they may need to seek help elsewhere
Right.
that's outside of an organization, and when a team has gone toxic.
Well, a team is made up of, my first answer to that is, they're all individuals.
Correct.
And if an individual person has toxicity issues, I will try to have one-on-one, because even somebody who's gone toxic, there's somebody in pain, and I can have compassion with that. I mean, unless I'm dealing with Genghis Khan or Hitler or something like that, which I don't know about you, I've never had to deal with sociopaths, so that's good. But unless you're dealing with something just really extreme like that, which I never have, I'm usually dealing with a person honestly in pain. And in this situation, the woman who had lost the job, let's face it, there was all the signs there that that could have gone the other way. She could have been so mad about that, she couldn't come past. But she tapped into that ISTJ, introverted feeling integrity, and she came through that like a champ, and it was beautiful. So I didn't have to deal with that. But I do see them as individuals, even on a team, I see them as individuals, and Pam, I'll let you say something, and then we're going to have the round 5 minutes.
Well, one suggestion, and yes, I do coach abrasive leaders, and that's like a different thing, but it's a really important question. When is the team too much? But I learned a question when I'm dealing with people in conflict to say, okay, what % are you hopeful that this can be turned around? And if they even say 1%, I'll say, okay, good, you're in. If you had said 0, then we wouldn't do anything. So if people think there's 0% chance that anything could be done, and then when you say that, okay, you're in, then everybody's leaning in just a little bit, and then you can move on. So it's like such this simple question.
That's great.
Yeah.
Pam, thank you for that. Absolutely. That shows you there is some hope and some willingness to help do that.
Even if it's just the 1%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's going to answer, I think, even more, my question, I think, had another meaning to it as well. I have a team of NTs, and two completely, yeah, I know, I belong to it. And two team members are willing to address what is very palpable in the team as something that was hurting us.
Right.
And the two team members consistently and willing to have the conversation because the conversation has been had before based on something that's going on. And so I think that what I'm hearing from them, and they've never done this officially per se, trying to think up ways and ideas as to how to approach this with the same. But that question of, is there hope, is a really good one. And what I'm hearing from the two members is 0 hope.
And actually, she said, what percentage?
What percentage,
That's different from yes or no, and that's helpful. And I would have somebody professional inside the organization, somebody in there to facilitate. That's a difficult conversation. That deserves outside. Would you agree? That deserves outside
And
help.
that's exactly what the two members are advocating for. Not let's all of us, especially because we're all type practitioners.
Right.
We're all know-it-all, and we are all in our heads, and we can all fix this. So the two team members keep going to the manager, saying, we need a professional from the outside to be brought in. Do not know what the outcome will be, but we're saying, you know what? We need to, what we do for others, we need for us.
We learn from them. Sometimes the cobbler's children have no shoes, and we need to get shoes for those cobbler's children. If you would, at your tables, ahas, questions, anything you want to talk about, the implications of this. Did you learn something useful here today that you will take away from? I would hope
like to mirror, like reflect that. It's in dark.
Bob South.
There is something on the comments.
It's not about like you I do like another one is like there's something about that muscle
I understand what you're saying. It would be interesting to see on the real where to have next. APTi guy with budgets and that's always in always coming up with another idea.
Using the model. Just from walking everyone has the check out. Even if it's in a different place, everyone has the same experience.
How quickly you want to study and you're playing out of
What we saw was 90 minutes. She had 3 months. Or she took 3 months. She was asked to maybe I don't know. So she had
and not
If you can hear the sound of my voice, I invite you to look back up to the front of the room. Thank you so much. Nobody's discussing golden retriever rescue, right?
Oh, right.
That did happen to me in a workshop once. Okay, I love all this talk. That says to me something happened here that y'all find interesting today. Anybody want to share? Is there something here you learned that, oh wow, that would really work, I might try that? Or some comment you want to make on this? My goal is you got one thing to take away from here that will be helpful. Hopefully more than one, but I'll live with one. Yes.
was using the Z model. For me, it was using the Z model, but with the extra functions.
Oh, the 8 functions instead of the 4 functions. I was trying to get there with you. Right.
But I had not done that before, and it was very powerful, and I can see how it really works.
Absolutely. Once you go to, and just act like it's normal, right? Like, oh, we do this, and of course we do this function. The fact that there's no voice there for that function, and then you help them understand the value of it, that can be a profound realization for them. Thank you. Anyone else? Something you'd like
to share your PowerPoints?
I am. I especially just, yes, I don't see why I couldn't give you all of them. I especially thought you might like it. Did you like the introverted sensing, extroverted intuiting?
Yes.
How those sound different?
Yes.
That's the one I really want to get you. If you would, these are on your table. Please put your name and your email address on it. I will send you the slides that also get you access to my website. I've got free handouts like articles I've written. I've got my job seekers. Anybody know somebody who's out of work? Please go to my website and download the free tip sheets. Okay, that's my volunteer work. There are too many people out of work now, and we need to help them get back to work. And thank you for showing up and participating. It was a joy to work with you today. Have a great time.